Welcome back to Gibbo MMA, and we are previewing UFC 318, Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. I cannot believe this is actually his last fight week, the last time we will preview a Dustin Poirier fight. Is it his last fight? Do you think he will come back and fight in a few years' time in the boxing ring, or bare knuckle, or have a once-off MMA fight? I don't think so. I do believe this card is solely built for him and his retirement fight. So yeah, I believe, yeah, this is for sure his last fight. And let's get into the preview. So New Orleans, Louisiana, Smoothie King Arena. That's where this event is held. Dustin Poirier's hometown is Lafayette, which is a few hours just outside of New Orleans. So let's dive into some facts or just a bit about New Orleans, where this event is happening. It's in the state of Louisiana, the southern part of the USA, the deep south. NFL team there is the New Orleans Saints, and then you've got the NBA team, the New Orleans Pelicans. The arena the fight is happening at is Smoothie King Center, capacity 18,500. Last time they were at this event was in 2015, and Dustin Poirier actually fought on this card. It was a fight night between Tim Boetsch and Dan Henderson. So this was back in 2015. This is their fifth time being to New Orleans, and this is the second time at the Smoothie King Center. It's confirmed Lil Wayne will be walking out Dustin Poirier, but Dustin said he will still be going with the James Brown song, The Boss. He's had that pretty much his whole career, so yeah, I wonder if they'll do a little remix or something, start off with a bit of Lil Wayne and then into the James Brown Boss song, but yeah, Lil Wayne will be walking him out, but I don't think they'll be playing any of his songs. But yeah, like, first of all, this card, a lot of fans are saying it's not really stacked at all, not worth the money to buy. You got to remember, this card is just solely built around for Poirier's retirement fight and pretty much the main event. Like, they didn't stack it because this is kind of a once-off thing where it's just mainly for that particular fighter in Dustin. So all of the other fights are going to be good fights. Like, I'm looking forward to the other fights. Obviously, there's no big, like, no massive names, but as far as like the matchups and the quality of fights and how they will go, I think we're going to see a lot of finishes, or it's going to be pretty chaotic. I think we're going to see some cool submissions or knockouts. Yeah, so as far as like name value, I can understand, but as far as the card and what and entertainment, I think we're gonna have an entertaining fight card. Because yeah, it's built for Dustin Poirier, so I can see why. Oh, next week you got a fight night in Abu Dhabi, and you got a lot of stacked fights. So, but yeah, I'm not too disappointed. It's Poirier's last fight, so I'll get into the first fight, Poirier Holloway main event. I did do a breakdown the other day of this, so go watch that if you want more in depth about this. My pick is Poirier by decision, or probably a round 4 TKO. I have to back Poirier last fight. If I get burnt picking him, I'm happy with that. But you know, this is the third time they fought each other. Holloway. They fought in 2012, Poirier won by submission. 2019 for the interim lightweight belt, Dustin won by decision. So Dustin's 2-0 in this matchup. So I think I'm just going to keep going with Dustin in this one. I think whoever mixes it up a lot will get the win, using more kicks, knees, elbows in the clinch, engaged in some offensive wrestling. Because yeah, if you just keep like their previous fights, you go, I go, you go. They kind of just took turns in exchanges. So whoever kind of doesn't let the other guy off the hook as easy, especially when they come together and exit. Whoever can land the cleanest exiting, yeah, will get the win. I think Dustin, man, he's just, I don't know, I feel like he's just really underrated a lot of the time. Um, he's grown a lot as a fighter. This last time they fought was 2019, and the MMA game has changed quite a bit as far as tactics, especially that calf kick and how to implement the martial arts together a lot better. And both of these fighters are so much better as how they mix it up. So I'm pretty keen to see what the difference, how they will go about it compared to their second fight. But I think, yeah, with Dustin, great boxing, obviously Holloway as well. I just think Holloway coming off that knockout loss to Ilya last year in October. I think he'll be fine, but you know, it sometimes you can't control what the body wants you to do, and I think he might be a bit gun shy. I think his chin um, might switch off again in this fight just purely because of how the previous fight went. That's just my opinion. Could be completely wrong, but like Volk, when he got finished by Ilya, he took over a year off to regain, let the body rest. Holloway's had 10 months off. Still quite a long time, but that was the first time he got finished. And I think obviously he doesn't have to cut down to 145, so he's got an extra 10 pounds he doesn't have to cut. But yeah, I just think Dustin's just going to be the more craftier, better man in this fight. So yeah, go watch the full breakdown in the other video where I go more in depth about it. Because yeah, there's a lot more other fights to get to. But yeah, I got Dustin winning this fight. He's a slight underdog, so wherever there's a bit of a coin toss and where the value is, that's tend to where I go as far as betting. We move to the co-main. We got Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. This fight was originally scheduled earlier this year. Let's see, in June. Got cancelled, rescheduled, but yeah, Paulo Costa, he's kind of the pull-out merchant, always getting cancelled bouts, but he's hopefully, he makes weight. He's got weigh-ins tomorrow, but I think he's pretty underestimated in this matchup. He's obviously coming off he's on a 2-fight losing streak. His last win was against Luke Rockhold in 2022, so it has been some time, but he didn't fight at all in 2023, and then he fought Robert Whittaker in close decision loss. He almost finished Whittaker at the end of the buzzer in round 1 or 2 with that head kick, and then he fought Sean Strickland in a split decision loss. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Paulo Costa in this fight just because he's got more power. He's versed the tougher opponents. He's fought for a belt against Adesanya, lost, but he's fought much better guys. Like Roman Kopylov, his last fight was against Chris Curtis, and I'm not convinced at all about this guy. Like he started to struggle against Chris Curtis and started to gas out in that fight. And then he ended up getting the win, but it's Chris Curtis. Like the guy will just stand in front of you. Like he's been shown to be hit pretty easily. And like he got the win, but he gassed out and did some grubby tactics, some eye pokes or something, headbutts, I don't know, and then eventually got the head kick. Yeah, which was pretty controversial. We have to go back and watch that fight, but not convinced at all that it took that much to get a win over Chris Curtis when he just stands in front of you. So I think this is a bit of a step up. So I'll be definitely putting some money on Paulo Costa. I think he's heavily underestimated in this fight. And I think Costa can be the first one to knock out Roman in his MMA career because he's only lost by submissions and decisions, but I can see Paulo Costa knocking him out for sure. Um, yeah, like Paulo Costa, I don't think, it's just super inconsistent as far as like cancelled fights and everything. Like, yeah, I think he's just a more athletic guy, more physical, more power, and I'm just gonna have, and he's fought tougher guys, so I think this will be, as far as this will be a good step down for him to take, and I get back in the win column. So I think he's been slept on in this fight. All right, we move to the next fight of the card, Mr. This most active fighter this year, or in UFC, Kevin Holland versus D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. This is Holland's fourth fight of the year. So he started the year with a loss to Reiner de Ridder. That turns out to be aged pretty well as far as a loss because Reiner de Ridder is now fighting Robert Whittaker next week at Abu Dhabi main event. And then if he beats Whittaker, he probably gets a title shot. So you'll take that. But that was at middleweight. And then, because he's real tall, but he's real lean. And I think he was just probably a bit too light for those guys. Because Reiner de Ridder, he is a middleweight and light heavyweight champ. He came from one championship. So he's a he's a two division champion at another major organization. And he's big, like DDP, like how big DDP is. Like he's big like him and long as well. And I think Kevin was just starting to realize, like, yeah, like it's fun. I don't have to cut weight here, but it's just these guys are just too big. Yeah, I'm tall, but as far as weight wise, I think that cemented, like, yeah, back-to-back losses at middleweight from Roman Dolidze and then Reiner de Ridder. So once he moved down to welterweight in his second fight of the year in March against Gunnar Nelson, he gets the decision win, fun fight, and then he fought again in June. So last month he gets a submission win over Vicente Luque, Anaconda choke, and now we're in July against D-Rod. So he's looking to get his third win of the year against D-Rod, which I do think he will. D-Rod, really, really durable guy, good takedown defense. He's on a 2-fight winning streak, beat Ponzinibbio, where he got that nice knockout, and he split decision against Alex Morono. Yeah, I think Kevin Holland will get the submission here. Yeah, how old's D-Rod? D-Rod, he's 38 years old, but I don't think he's what, 19 and 5. So I think Kevin Holland just at welterweight's just going to be too crafty, and he can really have a better chance with these guys. So I'm going with Kevin Holland with this fight. I think he'll get a DAS or Anaconda choke again, or be decision because D-Rod, he's a real tough guy, hard to get out of there. All right, move on to Dan 50K Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull returns. He came from Bellator. He fought Yair Rodriguez in his UFC debut here. Got the loss. So he's a former Bellator champion. Dan Ige, he's kind of like a gatekeeper to the rankings. Let me check. I'm just looking at the rankings here. Let's see. Yeah, Dan Ige is ranked 11. And Patricio. Yeah, Pitbull's not even ranked, but yeah, Dan Ige, he's always been that top 10 kind of guy, fighting any new people coming into the division, up and comers. He's got great knockout power. I feel like he just kind of gets unlucky, like he just keeps losing. When he does lose, it's just mainly by decision. Because he could definitely be a top 5 fighter, but he just loses shitty decisions really. Like his last, like he beat Sean Woodson TKO. He lost to Lerone Murphy via decision. Diego Lopez via decision. Bryce Mitchell decision. Mozart decision. Josh Emmett decision. Korean Zombie. So like he's fought, the top featherweights, the top 10 featherweights. So like yeah, he's Calvin Kattar decision. Like yeah, yeah, he hasn't been finished. Like he's just lost all by decision. So yeah, I think it's just due to the wrestling aspect, and he got real like high raps because that loss to Diego Lopez, he pulled up on 3 hours notice or something. So at UFC 303, Pereira versus Prohaska 2. So yeah, I think he will knock out Patricio. I think Patricio Pitbull, he's 38 years old. I think he's just going to be behind the pace. Most consensus here on Typology is Ige by decision, because I don't think Patricio has been brutally knocked out in his career. I think he's been let me just check. But I think, Ige holds a lot of power in his hands, and that's where he gets that 50K, because he does get bonuses. Yeah, he's got 2 knockout losses, TKO losses, Pitbull. So yeah, I got Ige winning this. Patricio just a bit behind the pace now. Disappointing debut against Yair, but where Pitbull can win this via decision is if he just out wrestles and grapples Ige. So Ige has just got to keep himself off the cage here and just really piece him up on the feet. But yeah, all right, we move to the next fight on the main card. Michael Johnson, the vet, takes on Daniel Zellhuber. Daniel Zellhuber last fought on that UFC Noche card last year with that insane fight against Esteban Ribovic, where he lost split decision. It was fight of the night. Crazy fight. He lost that, but he hasn't fought this year. He's had a few cancelled fights in the lightweight division, but he's young up and coming fighter. He's 15-2, only 26 years old, and he's now got the matchup against an absolute veteran guy who's been around forever. He's fought some of the best guys. He's Michael Johnson. He's beaten Dustin Poirier. He's 39 years old, but his record stands at 23-19. Like, just a lot of those losses are via submission and decision. But he's on a 2-fight win streak, Michael Johnson. Can't count him out in this fight, but I think he's just going to be, I don't know, like Zellhuber, tall guy and everything. Like Michael Johnson's 5'10". Zellhuber, where is he? Daniel, like he's 6'1", so a couple of inches taller. But yeah, that age gap, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year age gap. But I think Michael Johnson could just outvet him for sure. Is Zellhuber kind of looking past him just because he's the younger guy and thinks youth is on his side? And like he is coming off a loss, and Michael Johnson, he could put Zellhuber to sleep or win by decision, or it could be vice versa. So Michael Johnson is, the heavy underdog. So I'm just gonna have to go with. But then I don't know. Like I feel like he would just disappoint you. But I don't know. I feel like he could shut Daniel Zellhuber up. So fuck it. I'm going with Michael Johnson, man. Like Zellhuber, like who's he beaten? He's what? Francisco Prado, who's now at welterweight because he's a massive lightweight, who's on this card. Christos Giagos, Lando Venata, and he lost his UFC debut against Trey Ogden. So I think this is a good matchup, a good test for him, because he's 3-2 in the UFC. So I think he might get a humbling experience against Michael Johnson. So I'm going to have to go with Michael Johnson. All right, we move on. So that's the featured main card bout, that one. So I think we're going to be hitting the prelims now. Yeah, Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Lopdog Oliveira. Fun bantamweight fight between rank 12, rank 15. Yeah, I feel like these guys haven't been super active. 8 months ago, Kyler Phillips lost to Rob Font, and 5 months ago, Vinicius beat Sedna Magomedov. So I guess so. Everyone's favoring Oliveira via decision, knockout. I tend to agree. Yeah, I think it would be a fun bantamweight fight. Nothing too crazy to break down here. We'll say Oliveira does have that crazy, I think it was like a flying knee of some sort, knockout win against, that was last year against Bernardo Sapage. Go and watch that. That was last year in March. He got fight of the night and performance of the night. That flying knee knockout was insane by Oliveira. But he's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's on a 5-fight win streak in the bantamweight division. So he's definitely climbing the ranks. So this here will put him, if he beats him, he gets ranked 12. So I think we'll have to go with Oliveira here. He's the guy on the rise in this fight. Yeah. But yeah, this is probably the people's main event if you know the backstory of this next fight I'm about to talk about on the prelims. I thought this would have been on the main card, but I'm happy it's on the prelims. You essentially get to watch it, on ESPN Plus or Fight Pass. So you don't have to buy the pay-per-view just if you wanted to watch this fight. But Marvin Vettori takes on Brandon Allen. These guys had an altercation after a PFL event at the Hard Rock Casino with a brawl just on the open floor there at the casino. So these guys do not like each other. They're both on 2-fight losing streaks, so they're eager to get a win. I think Allen's the favorite, but I'm leaning towards Vettori on this fight. I think Vettori, he's never been finished. He's got the most durable chin in MMA. He's never been knocked out or submitted. So yeah, he's never been finished. He has fought for a title versus Adesanya, but lost. Unfortunately, his brother recently passed away. I think it was in a house fire. So I think he'll be using those. He's going through a tough time, but I think we might see a new run here of Marvin Vettori because he lost to Roman Dolidze decision, Jared Cannonier decision, Robert Whittaker decision. So if he just finished blokes, he could be a champion, but he tends to just likes to box and circle around and stick his head down and throw haymakers, and he can take a damn punch. But yeah, Marvin Vettori, he's only 31, and he's been around for a while. Brandon Allen, he was on a good little rise there, and then he was on a good rise. He was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was on a 7-fight win streak. Oh, bloody grappling. He was in the UFC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-fight win streak in the UFC. And then he fights Imavov in a 3-round decision loss in Paris. I was there for that fight. He loses that, and then he loses decision to Anthony Hernandez. So he fought the top, 5, 8 guys in the division. No tough fights, but yeah, it was on a real good streak there, and you thought, oh, if he gets a win over Evolve, like he could potentially be one of the next in line for the titles, but he's now on a 2-fight losing streak. We know he's got good grappling and submissions. He's got 14 wins by submission in his career, but he does have two KO losses. But the last time he got TKO was against Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland, but that was 2020, 2021. So I do think Marvin Vettori could TKO him, but Allen didn't get finished by Hernandez, who's an absolute beast, and Imavov, who's a good sharpshooter. But I think the durability and how aggressive Vettori he's like a bull, like he can bull rush him. So I think Vettori via knockout here. Again, he's the underdog Vettori, and I think this is more of a flip of the coin. So where the value is, that's where I'm going. So I got Marvin Vettori here to win. All right, move on to, might just skim down these ones. Francisco Prado, he was versus Nikolay Veretennikov, welterweight bout. Prado, he's got the absolute, he's like Drew Dober jawline, chin, absolutely huge. Prado's a favorite here. He's on a back-to-back losses. Same with Nikolay. I think Prado will get probably just via decision here. He last fought Jake Matthews in Sydney, lost via decision, but I think this will be a better matchup for him. So I got Prado to win that. Adam Fuga versus Islam Dulatov. I got Dulatov to win. Just found out this guy was like a runway male model, like one of the best in the world, and now he's been doing MMA. He's 26 years old, making his UFC debut. So this fight was originally scheduled for February. He's come off the Dana White Contender Series, so yeah, this will be. He's got 6 wins by knockout, 5 by submission, so he hasn't, and 1 loss by decision. So I got Islam here. I think that would be a fun fight. We move on to Etibar Gaudier versus Robert Valentini. I got Atiba here by knockout. Robert, he's come off he came off the Ultimate Fighter. He got a good believe. But he last fought Torres Finney, that little compact guy who just hugged him against the cage, and he lost by a split decision against him. And before that, he fought Ryan Loder and lost. So I'm going with Atiba here, 7-1, real powerful guy. So in this middleweight bout, I'm backing him. Oh, sorry, that was actually before the Fugit fight. So, and then we move on to Australia's own Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. Jimmy Crute, really want to see him get a win. It's been quite some time. I think it's been like 4 years since Jimmy's got a win. Yeah, last win was in 2020 against Modestas Bukauskas. He's had a weird run of late. His last fight ended in a majority draw. So in 2021 he lost to Anthony Smith. It was when he got hit in that like calf and the nerve, and his leg just conked out. And then he lost to Jamal Hill TKO. And then he drew against Alonzo Menafield. Then he got submitted against him in the rematch. And then he didn't fight for 2 years. And then he came back and versus Rodolfo Bellato earlier this year on the Sydney card and lost and was majority draw. So he went loss, draw. Like, tough run that's been. So I think he'll be keen to get back in the win column. It'd be good to see him. He's still young. He's only 29. I think he just went, yeah, he had a couple years off. So I think he's a bit more fresher now and has that, got a second wind in his career. I think he's going to go on a good tear here. So Jimmy Crute by a knockout for me. Ryan Spann versus Lukas Brzeski. Just a couple of heavyweights going at it. Hopefully we don't see a 3-round decision, but I think Ryan Spann has got that knockout power. He'll get the win there. And then Jackson McVeigh versus Bruno Ferreira. This will be a fun fight. McVeigh, he's had a course of, he's still trying to make his UFC debut, but I think he's had like a heap of cancelled fights of recent. Yeah, like in June, Christopher Ewart got cancelled, and then Cedric Demars cancelled because he had the ankle monitor thing. So he's still yet to make his UFC debut, but he's a heavy underdog in this matchup. He's a tall guy. He's 6'4", McVeigh. But yeah, this will be a fun fight at middleweight. He's taking on Bruno Ferreira, who's an absolute beast. Ferreira's a favorite to get the knockout, but fuck it, I might go with Jackson McVeigh, a tall guy, eager to make his debut. Let's go with him. All right, and the first fight of the event, Nicole Kalari versus Carly Judas in the women's flyweight division. Yeah, I think I'll just have to go with Judas here. She's coming off a knockout win, and Nicolay is coming off a split decision loss, but I think I'll have to go with Carly Judas. So yeah, I just had to, I didn't really go super deep into much of these fights. I think if you're watching this, you kind of know how a lot of these are going to go, but as far as like, I don't know, there's just no big, huge stakes on the line for any of these fights except the main event, really. So it was kind of hard to get behind this as far as like breaking down, because a lot of these guys are just win, win, loss, loss, win, loss, win, like inconsistent records, except for Kevin Holland he's on a 2-fight win streak. But what I wanted to do is we've got to guess the bonuses for this event. Who's going to get fight of the night and who's going to get the 2 performances of the night. So I had a good little think about this. Fight of the night it's easy, but it's also hard because I've gone with Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. Like, surely that's going to be fight of the night, but there is like a few sleepers on this. Like, I could see Johnson and Zellhuber be fight of the night, just 2 guys slogging it out. Especially like on the prelims, like could see Prado and Nicolay fight of the night just absolutely slogging it out, or even Vittori Allen, like if they don't try and wrestle each other and they just slog it out. Holland Rodriguez, Costa Kopilov, like all these guys, there could be a few wars in this. Ige Pitbull, but I've gone with a safe option with Holloway Poirier because I do feel like there's going to be a few wars on this card, but I think Holloway Poirier will be fight of the night. And then performances of the night, again, I found it hard because you just don't know. Like, I went with Dan 50K Ige. I think he's going to sleep Pitbull, like a big moment, just massive shot, right hand, left hook, sleep Pitbull. So I think he'll get it. And I think Atiba Gaudier will get the other performance. I think he's going to get a big knockout over Robert there. I wanted to go Kevin Holland, like he could get like a 1st-round submission over Rodriguez, or Paulo Costa, he could get a head kick knockout. Yeah, or Ryan Spann, like he could get a vicious knockout. But yeah, I went with Ige and Atiba for the performance bonuses. But yeah, like that's the preview of the card. The main thing is the Poirier Holloway fight. Like that's why we're here. That is why we are here. Is the Poirier Holloway card. And again, let me just quickly run through Dustin's career. Turned pro in 2009, debuted in the UFC 2011, first guy to knock out Conor McGregor. That was, I've never been so shocked in my life when that happened, because we've never seen, like, we've seen him, be choked out or whatever, but as far as getting finished like that, that was insane. And that's still probably one of my biggest, like, holy shit moments in the UFC. Obviously, when Max Holloway knocked out Justin Gaethje and Leon Edwards knocking out Kamaru Usman. But as far as, like, just because of the aura and what Conor brings, you've never seen him get finished like that. And for Dustin to do it in that fashion was, yeah, it was almost like watching, like, it's almost like when, like, seeing your dad die. I don't know. It was like seeing, like, someone you put up on a pedestal just come crashing down. Like, it was like, holy shit. This will be his 32nd fight in the UFC, 41st pro MMA fight. Favorite fight of Dustin Poirier is the Dan Hooker fight. Go back and watch that. It's absolutely insane. But Dustin, like, he's had a crazy career, ups and downs. He's never been undisputed champ. That's the only thing that I guess might bother him, but he's made a lot of money. He's fought Conor 3 times, 2 times in a main event pay-per-view bout. So he's got the red panty night twice, and that's what sets him apart from a lot of people. Is like he's fought the best guys. He's fought so many Hall of Famers. Current, like, Khabib's the current only one currently, but there's a heap of other guys that are going to be inducted, like Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, Conor McGregor, possibly Eddie Alvarez, Anthony Pettis, Jim Miller. Like, he's fought so many guys who are going to most likely be future Hall of Famers. And yeah, like, you put on a Dustin Poirier fight, win or lose, you're going to be entertained. And like, he's fought nothing but the top guys in the world. Like, his last fight was against Islam. He was doing really well in that. He got finished by a Das, choke in the last round. Before that, he beat Benoit Saint Denis, where I couldn't believe it. Dustin was like a 3-1 underdog in this fight. I bet on Dustin, made some good money. I was like, I couldn't believe it, because he knocked him out and then got a title shot. Yeah, so this is the second time he's fighting for the BMF belt. He fought Justin Gaethje for it, where he lost by a head kick. So if he can end it right here, win the fight and leave with that BMF belt, I think that will be just a great way to go out. Obviously, he was chasing that undisputed belt. He had the interim belt. Like, he's still a champion, interim world champion, but as far as undisputed, never got it. But as far as making money, he definitely ticks that department. And I think it's like he fought Khabib for the title. Like, he's fought the toughest guys. And he's done really well in his prize fighting career. And to leave at the age of 36 years old and to live out the rest of your life nice, somewhat, like, you want to say nice and healthy, but obviously this game takes a lot away from you. But I feel like, we've got to give him his flowers, keep appreciating Dustin. You've seen him mature as a fighter, as a person throughout his career. He's doing plenty of good stuff with the Good Fight Foundation in his community, stand-up guy. Would definitely like to meet him one day, talk to him about, what it was like, in his early career, and then losing to Conor and then having to come back, get on, and then continue facing the top guys as well. And then also, get that one back when he finished him during that COVID. And then, he's the last guy to fight Conor McGregor, and he beat him, and, he's made a boatload of cash. That's also what separates him and really puts him up there, is because he's fought and he's fought Conor 3 times, beat him twice. He's also beaten, the greatest grapplers you might see in MMA, in Islam and Khabib. Like, he's fought the Dagestani and goats, the toughest guys. And yeah, also that Dan Hooker fight, like that's just that. Like, if you want to see what Dustin Poirier is made out of, go watch the end of the second round and how much damage he took, and just fucking just went, oh sweet. Like, he is so tough, man. And the only guy that could really gave him troubles with his power was Conor McGregor. Like, even when he beat Conor, like the last 2 fights he fought him, Conor rocked him both times. And but yeah, he's just a tough guy, and yeah, it's gonna be sad to see him go, but I'm real happy he gets to go out in this way with a whole card built around him. It's gonna be a great fight. Let me know your thoughts on this card. I'm backing plenty of underdogs here. Paulo Costa, Michael Johnson, Marvin Vettori, Dustin Poirier. Like, there's a lot of value in this card. So let me know your predictions for the Poirier Holloway fight. Yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, comment, go follow the socials at Gibbo MMA. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this main event. I think I'm gonna either be really happy or pretty sad if he loses. But again, Max Holloway, super tough opponent for Dustin to exit with. But if he wins, it's going to look really great. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting fight. So yeah, enjoy it, guys, and we'll see you in the post-fight show.